is in the eye of the beholder. I don't think it matters. I think how something looks does affect the way it sounds. How that looks, how that looks, how that looks, how that looks, how that looks. And in the looks department, nothing got me more randy than the SMSL Panda stack. If you don't know what that is, I'll have a link to the full picture somewhere in the description. But what it basically comes down to is SMSL, Zeos Pantera's favorite company for shit, came out with 3 units, which for some reason are in 3 different boxes that you combine together to make the Panda stack. And I'm pretty sure, by the way, I'm going to go out and say this, I don't know, pretty sure 3 different subsidiary manufacturing facilities combined to make this, because the finishes are just slightly off. We'll start this out with the headphone amp, the PHA for phone amp, I guess. Ooh, I didn't peel the plastic off of it, you know, the little protective plastic, because again, this is going to go up for sale on Patreon, to a patron on Patreon. And the PHA here, now, first of all, you can buy them individually. I bought them individually. Mastrop had them for $10 less than the combined total, and all it added was a set of RCAs. And I didn't want to wait the 6 weeks for Mastrop. So we've got the headphone amp, the PHA, the Sanskrit Pro DAC, and then this heavy brick, which is the IPS or LPS. It's lowercase, so it's LPS for linear power supply. And together, these unite to become the Panda stack. And the way you usually see them laid out is like this. And sexy. And sexy. Now, the way I'm going to stack it's going to be differently, and I'm going to describe every piece individually and tell you what it does. Obviously, you know what a headphone amplifier is. Here it is. We've got audio input, RCAs, audio output, RCAs, and power 9 volt. Now, when you buy them individually, they come with individual power plugs for the wall. So you can power this individually on the wall. Then you've got the Sanskrit Pro, which is quite significantly more money than the normal Sanskrit that I reviewed. It's also slightly smaller, I think. Yeah, this is probably slightly smaller. But this has full-size optical in, coaxial in, left and right output, 9 volt, and then Bluetooth, which is indicated by this very, 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 very small thing there, which when we plug it in, it'll light up. So you get a DAC with a Bluetooth capability, which does work, and it works really well. And then this. Now, this is the cheapest of the 3, the cheapest component. And legitimately, you could skip it. But then you wouldn't be making a Panda stack, you would just have 2 items. This is the linear power supply. So in here, instead of using the little ones you plug into the wall, you know, when you plug individually, this, all it does is take 110 and give you 2 9 volt outputs. And it tells you power amp and power DAC. Boom, boom. So this is a $100 9 volt transformer / controller. Because you turn this on and off, and it turns off the other units. They're all work in conjunction, and it's beautiful. Now, I was saying the finish is slightly different, and you can see it right here. I'll put it under my... These two, the headphone amp and the linear power supply are... Actually, you know what? All 3 are different. The shiniest one is the power supply. Then slightly duller is the headphone amp, and then duller still is the Sanskrit Pro. And it's not the end of the world. You actually don't notice unless you point it out. Let's hook all this up. Need 110. Here are the little jumpers that this unit comes with. And I added the little things that came with as well. The TDK branded chokes, ferrite chokes. Let's see, the power DAC is that one. And the power amp is that one. So, everyone else has their configuration with this at the bottom, but I'm not everyone else, and I'm going to put this in the top, and I'll explain why in a second. We're going to put the DAC on the bottom. And I gotta grab some RCAs from behind me. We're gonna put, let's wire this properly. Now, since it doesn't come with RCAs, because I bought them individually, and you might buy them, you're definitely gonna buy them individually. I have to use these Liberty Cable RCAs. Inputs. There. And they're not labeled left and right because I'm so badass, I don't need that. Left. Right. Oh, so the output on this is also controllable, so I could do powered monitors with it. Which I don't have any powered monitors set up currently because things are happening. I would have liked to, but it could always be done later. This is the problem with long-ish RCAs. You've got to sort of tweak them into fitting. So now, DAC in the bottom, amp in the middle, and then you hold it all together with that beautiful linear power supply. So let's see, power amp. Swing this down, power DAC. It's starting to be abundantly clear that having a bridge connector between those two would be, well, actually this whole bundle is just here anyway. All right, line everything up. I kind of wish it came with those rubber bands that I always call cock rings, just to hold it into a big block. Are we ready? Are we plugged in? Lower the chair. Oh, did I not plug this in? Oh, I didn't have it on. When I shut it off, I'll shut it off again. Oh, God. I'm sorry, but as a man, that is just amazing. So you click on the linear power supply, it waits, it initiates, it sends power to the DAC, and then it sends power to the amp, and then it's ready to go once that stops blinking. So I already have added this to Windows on this connection, so it should just be here as a default device. I'm just going to double check. Panda stack, properties, advanced, levels 100, enhancers, disabled. 24,192 is what we get up to, which is good because that means you don't have to add any special drivers. When you get into the 32-bit stuff, DSD stuff, you got to install drivers, and that, I don't care about DSD, and 32-bit is excessive. My Emotiva is 32-bit, the Origin is 32-bit. I never use them in 32-bit. I mean, I set them to it, but there's no difference. So 24 is just fine. So now we have a cleanly powered, and I've tried to do listening tests between powering them with the linear and powering with the standard plug, and my power here is sort of good, and I have a power conditioner, so it's not exceptionally bad, but just so you could have it, because these all can individually power on and off like that. Actually, I have to hold it down for it to individually power on and off. You see how small those fucking icons are? I can't even read them. Bluetooth, USB, then there's one with like 2 arrows down, and then there's a circle. So I'm assuming that's fiber optic and coaxial on the bottom. You basically got to, everything is very small. Very small. Very so small. Now, this is showing me the amp and DAC have power, and then that is the standby. So, don't have to worry about that. And now here on the headphone amp, again, that you can power off. As long as it's on, when you hit this power, it'll all come back on when you put it back on. Now, this is a digital volume control. Now, a lot of people don't like digital volume controls. I'm probably one of those people. I've got it here on my XDA, which had a remote, which had a reason to have a digital power, so you have a remote. But this has no remote. So if you're going to be changing volumes, you're going to be doing it like that. Now, you think you're going to hit that power button in the... It's actually a dual purpose button in the middle here. It's hold it down for power. Hold on. Hold it down. Power's off. Power's on. But if you do a quick press, hold on, stop blinking. Just that light goes out. and these stay on. And what that's doing is it uses the RCA output. So if you wanted to use it as a preamp to control powered monitors, you can, or use it as a pre-out to send it to another headphone amp. You could, but I just used the shit sys here to split the DAC to go to my tube and then back to this. It was fine. Point is, quick press, the light goes on, headphone, quick press, light goes off, powered monitors. It's a nice feature. And then you get to adjust the volume. Now the volume indicators here, all the way down is no lights. Then you hit up and it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop, and then the bottom light's lit up. Then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 2 lights are on. Then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 3 lights, and finally the top. So it is pretty well indicated. It's not just 4 bars of volume. It's 1, then 3, then 2, then 2, then 3, then 1, and then it shows you. And on the really easy to drive headphones, no lights are indicated, and you could actually just do like, yeah, that's 3 bars, and there's multiple presses per bar. So you really can hone in. And what a benefit of digital is also there's no channel imbalance. Every pot that you can turn, except for this one's retarded, but every pot you can turn that can get dirty can have a channel imbalance where the left doesn't come in quite as fast as the right, and then eventually they settle down. Digital will never do that. Digital is just, the output on this, and these headphones, and on the preamp to all the things is just perfectly linear and exactly the same up and up. So that's a good benefit. It does get sort of annoying to have to adjust the volume on this. And here's the problem here. Let's pretend that's on top now. All right. Are you grasping why I have the heavy linear power supply on top? It's acting as an anchor, baby. Well, it's acting as an anchor. So now I can push this and it doesn't go sliding away. Because the brick's on top, and this thing is a brick. It's twice as heavy as these other units. In fact, it's probably heavier than both of these units combined. So you keep this in the middle, you put this, and also, this is the only thing that gets hot, is the power supply. So it makes sense to put the thing that gets hot on top, and the heaviest thing on top, just to squeeze it all down. Now, what are we playing with? All right, we'll just do foobar for now. I should tell you how it performs. I mean, I know I love build. Build is my favorite thing, but... Okay, we set it to the Panda stack. Panda stack is outputting. I have no headphones. Oh, God. Don't need vent interruptions at this moment. Convenience! Yes, I was using this SAP 7 to use the Mark IIIs out in public. It did work. All right, we need an adapter. Of course, again, 1/4 inch. And look at this, you could even, oh, almost. It almost didn't slide. Almost. All right, I've got sound. So there's off. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 20 button presses. And they're listenable volume. So we're at 2 out of 4 bars with, I think, 1 extra press, and they're loud. So there is the power here. There's 3 bars. That is loud. It's actually shaking these. Let me just switch. Boom. So now that's doing the line outs, even though there's nothing attached, just so I don't have to pause anything. So there you go with that. Now, I also should have this set up in the phone. So if I switch this to Bluetooth, which yes, Bluetooth. We've got here SMSL Panda stack is connecting. SMSL Panda stack is connected. Let's load up Spotify, some Diantword, because why not? Shuffle play. Let's see. Oh, I have this down. Oh, I've got it on. Well, it'll just be the ringer shushed. Do I not have it on the right output? Yes, I do. Oh, because I'm stupid. That's why. There we go. Oh. Alright, so now my phone is Bluetoothing out. Yes. When you switch, another reason to have a digital knob instead of an analog knob is when I switch for the headphone out versus the line outs, it resets the volume to 2. Unlike the Fostex HPA3 that I reviewed with the button that lets you switch for headphone or line out, so this does that, you still had a knob, and that knob was at 100 and you switched, and the other thing that wasn't on previously is now at 100. And that could be bad, so you have to remember to lower this when you switch back and forth. If I raise, headphones are playing, I make it very loud, switch line outs at 2, I make the line outs very low. I really do like the way they indicated the volume. And switch back. It's very low. It'll stay low. If you go past 2, it resets and stays down. So it remembers as long as it's below 50%, but if it's above 50%, it drops it down. It takes the precaution. Again, good system. So you can buy the PHA on its own. If you just need a headphone amp, you have a DAC, you've got the other Sanskrit. Let's say you don't need the Bluetooth adaptability, you don't need this finish to match. No, it just doesn't match 100%, and I'm so okay with that. If you have an ODAC or something, and you just want a good headphone amp, boom, $200. But it's, if you can get past the digital buttons, pushes, snooky cookie. Let's switch the thing back now to USB, where it should be playing childish, and it is. So, do you want the Panda stack, the whole stack? Well, if you want a truly superior solid state solution, look, it's more than the OWN, and it's more than an O2 ODAC. This is $500 we're looking at here, roughly. I paid a little more to get it here faster. And then you got to buy some RCAs, which I just happen to have like piles of them, but you'd have to buy RCAs. So the question comes down to, is it worth $500? Yes. Yes, it is. To say you have a linear powered, high gain, digital controlled amp with, I'm assuming this DAC is literally right at the same level as the 6th generation standalone Sanskrit. This is just in a nicer case with Bluetooth capability. I can't detect, better, but there's no sound anomalies. It doesn't sound like it's warmer or it's perfect. They're perfect DAC. DACs have all become perfect. You're going to be paying a little more. Could you substitute in not the Pro DAC and just get the normal Sanskrit for $100 less? Yeah, your stack won't be as pretty. But even the linear power supply, I checked, and the normal Sanskrit DAC is 9 volts. So you could just put a big black box down here instead of a slightly narrower silver one. But then again, if you're just looking for a DAC and you want something with, you want to add Bluetooth, like easy Bluetooth to your system, there it is. There's now a DAC with optical, coaxial, USB, and Bluetooth. You get a headphone amp with perfect linearity for left and right, although the digital buttons again take a bit to get used to, but the visualization of volume is excellent. Oh, okay. Watch. Power off. Click. Click. Error. We get an error message. Yeah, it'll give me an error message because the DAC disappeared. But yeah. I've been looking at this thing, and until the Patreon picked up and I was able to just say, all right, fuck it. It was just a dream. Now, as much as I want to keep it, I also would rather buy something for next month to review. So, before this review is released, I'm going to have sold this to one of the patrons. I'm at least going to have offered it. If it didn't sell, it'll end up on AV Exchange, where someone will pick it up, because I'm going to obviously take some money off it. Maybe I'll rub it and make it worth more. They haven't screwed up, other than the fact that it comes in 3 completely different looking boxes for whatever reason. Velvet sound. Velvet sound. There's Panda stack. I got to take some beautiful pictures for the thumbnail of this video, because that's really what's going to make people want it. You're going to want it for how it looks. Look at it. Look how pro that looks. Tiny and pro. I know people who are into tiny pros. You could be one of them. That startup procedure, by the way. Anything else I'm forgetting? I've only tried one pair of headphones out in the video, but trust me, everything that is in this room has been on this stack. Everything. Easy to drive IEMs. You could just feather in that, the lowest amount of power, and power's fine. Is it worth $500? Yes. Could you cheat a bit? And by cheat, I mean like, you could skip the linear power supply if you wanted to. That's $100 off. You could change out the Sanskrit Pro for the normal Sanskrit. That's $100 off. So for $300, you buy this unit and the cheaper DAC and plug it together with some RCAs. That could be the deal of the century. It's just having all of it. Having the linear power supply to clean up any issues and anomalies and